Hello and welcome to the first part of my Embo build series. So I'm currently very happy with how this project is coming out, and today we're going to be focusing on his chest plate as well as his shoulder pads. I really love how this thing came together, especially with the paint job. I really think that it's giving that animated look that I'm really happy with. So let's go and get started. Starting on the chest plate, these are the two main pieces for the front and back. So let's go ahead, cut them out of some 6mm foam. So putting the main back piece to the side, we're going to focus on the front, and these are what the details for the front looks like. There are a total of 9 pieces, and that middle one is going to be mirrored on each side. Now with all the pieces cut out, it's time to glue them together, and for that I'm using some contact cement. I'm only putting it on the front of the chest plate and the back of all the panels, and I'm going to do that twice before pressing them together. After that, the front of the chest plate is all done, and now it's time to focus on the back. The back only has one detail piece, and I cut that out of some 2mm foam, and I'm just going to simply glue it on with some hot glue. With the front and back all done, it is time to attach them. So I start by gluing elastic directly to the back and front pieces that go over the shoulders and reinforcing it with a little bit of foam on the back. The elastic then meets in the middle of the back plate, and then once again, I reinforce it with another piece of foam. For the side straps, I start by gluing a 1-inch strip of 2mm foam to act as the buckles on each side of the strap. I then glue these to the front of the chest plate, and then I add some elastic on the back to give it a little bit more strength. After the elastic is glued down, I glue one side directly to the back plate before attaching a parachute clip on the other side. So now focusing on the shoulder armor, this is the main front plate as well as the first plate of the neck guard. So I'm going to glue them together with a bit of 2mm foam, so I'm just putting contact cement on both sides and then just pushing them together. Here are the next two pieces for the shoulder pads, and they go right next to the side of that main front plate, and these are going to be glued on the same way with 2mm foam on the back, and notice how only one side has the two little ovals cut out. So here are the next two pieces of the shoulder pads, and they are going to be glued on the exact same way the others were. This is a very repetitive piece, but in the end I think it was worth it. So I forgot to show the other pieces, but they were glued on the exact same way. So the next two pieces and then that main back piece were all glued on the same way with the 2mm foam. So the little piece on the front of the shoulder pad was made out of some foam core as well as just some 2mm foam. I was just adding different layers of the foam to give it a more detailed look. After it was done, I went ahead and glued it into place, and now it's time for painting. To seal the foam, I used some Plasti Dip using 3 to 4 even light coats, and then after that, I went ahead and then I did all of the weathering for the chest plate. So for this, I used my Dremel tool and then just made sure I had a reference image while doing this. For the chest plate, I used this yellow here, and then I just took it and then I simply did a dust coat all over the armor, making sure not to go too heavy. After the yellow dried, I took some masking tape and some paper, and I covered everything that is going to be yellow in the end, so I was able to paint the buckle silver. I used this silver from Rust-Oleum, and I just took it, and then I painted all the buckles silver. I did about 2 coats on them, and then this is also the same paint that I used for the chest plate. Now focusing on the chest plate, I went ahead and I mixed up a yellow that I was pretty happy with, and then I watered it down a whole bunch. And then after that, I painted it on each armor plate individually, doing about 3 layers on each side and letting them dry completely in between. After that was dry, it was time to start weathering. I started weathering with a nice black acrylic paint, putting this in all of the recessed areas, making sure I had a reference photo on hand. After it was placed, I used a wet paper towel and I wiped most of it away, doing this a few times to give it a layered effect. During this entire process, I was using the reference image from the 501st Legion and their Embo from the CRL. So that is a screen accurate costume, so that was a great reference image for me to use. And then after the black, I simply moved on to the brown weathering. So that was very similar, looking at the reference image and then just putting it on the armor and wiping most of it away with a wet paper towel. After the brown, there was only one more thing to do. I took some white paint and then I just added some highlights and then wiped most of it away with a wet paper towel again, just giving it that nice leather shine look that it has in the animated series. After about 3 coats of the silver, I took it inside and I masked everything that was going to remain silver and left everything that was going to be painted gray exposed. So this is the gray I'm using, and you can see what areas I masked off, so I just simply went ahead and painted it gray. So I'm going to start off by removing all of the tape, and then I'm going to take some black paint, and then everywhere that I dremeled in some little battle damage, I'm just going to fill it in with some black. After the black was dry, I took a light gray and I dry brushed it all across the armor, making sure that I'm following the reference photo to give it that nice animated look that it has in the series. Next, I took some silver paint and I added some battle damage all across all of the gray bits, adding it on the edges and just following the reference photos and giving it a nice scuffed and scratched look. After the silver dried, I took a very light gray, almost a white, and then I just simply used this to highlight different edges of the armor, including on the chest plate, right in the center, and the edges of the armor as well. After that was done, I took a pencil and then I drew out the logo that he has on the side of his armor, and then I started filling it in with some red paint. After the red was dry, I used all the same weathering steps to give it a nice weathered look, and like the paint is starting to chip away, so I just used the light gray and then the even lighter gray on top of that to give it the look that I want. Then the final step for painting is taking some black and then dry brushing it in selective areas following the reference photos that I have up. I then attach Velcro to the underside of the shoulder pads and the front and back of the chest plate, just so when I put it on, each piece can line up. I am very happy with how this project is turning out. I think this armor is some of my favorite I've ever made. I love the paint job and everything about it. It fits really well, and I'm able to do everything that I thought that I could be, except reach my hat. That's going to be a problem that we'll tackle in the next 2 episodes, which will be Embo's head, and then, of course, his iconic hat. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss those. Until then, have a good one.